Hi, I'm Carol Andrews for another episode of Southwest TV News. Here are some of the stories coming up on today's show. The final numbers have yet to be tallied. However, the Cypress Health Region is expecting a surplus of approximately $1 million to the end of December 2013. The landscape off the number 4 highway may soon change, as the city of Swift Current is planning for future growth. The Sunset Gala, held back in September at the Sky Center in Swift Current, is one many will not soon forget. Over $137,000 was raised from the evening's event. Thanks for joining us here today. The Cypress Health Region is kicking off 2014 on a solid financial note. We have more in today's top story. The final numbers have yet to be tallied. However, the Cypress Health Region is expecting a surplus of approximately $1 million to the end of December 2013. These details were discussed during the January board meeting in Swift Current. And according to the Director of Finance, the surplus is attributed to a number of factors, including additional provincial funding to the tune of approximately $1.1 million.
Yeah, we have additional funding from the ministry for renal dialysis, and the CEC in Shaunavon, we got some additional funding there for our primary care physicians, which they're now all on contract, and before they're on fee-for-service. So that additional revenue shows up that we seem to be getting a lot of extra revenue from the ministry, but it actually is something that we have expenses on the other side that we have to pay for these things.
Staff vacancies across the region have also added to the surplus in dollars, a scenario which Elson says they would prefer have filled sooner than later in a variety of departments.
We're probably going to be $2 million in vacancies this year, and it's all over the region. It's not that we're not trying to fill these positions. It's just tough finding people. Not just to come here, but rural Saskatchewan, it's hard. And even in Swift Current, it's not all our smaller sites, but it's the whole region.
He further adds that with the additional dollars, the Cypress Health Region will be able to purchase various medical equipment across the Southwest in the coming year, from beds to lab equipment.
As was approved today, a capital list of roughly $2.5 million. Also with surpluses, it allows us to, last year I think this current fiscal year, we've had about $300,000 in equipment that we've had to purchase that wouldn't be on our capital list, but it just stopped working, and it gives us the ability to pay for those things. So some of the things that are on the capital list this year we'll pay for out of that fund, but it's not something that you want to bleed dry because you never know when you need it.
The Cypress Health Region employs approximately 1,700 staff, providing healthcare services to 80 municipalities and a population of close to 44,000 across Southwest Saskatchewan.
Fired up! Fired up! Ready to go!
The city of Swift Current is looking to expand its commercial area, this time along the number 4 highway. The landscape off the number 4 highway may soon change, as the city of Swift Current is planning for future growth. The city has been working closely with Focus Corporation out of Calgary on a concept plan for new commercial development. The proposed designs for the new Hillcrest Highway commercial area were recently on display during an open house at the Swift Current Mall. Local residents had the chance to view the conceptual designs and meet up with the consultants and city reps. Michael Roos is the manager of planning and bylaw for the city of Swift Current and indicates they've been studying this area for future growth since 2010 and explains how it differs from commercial layouts already in place along the Trans-Canada Highway.
People are driving down the Trans-Canada, stopping and using their vehicles for the main mode of transportation. This, we tried to again, really take advantage of its surroundings and integrate it with the community. There's nearby residential development, so we want to give those residents an opportunity to, go and use the existing city's recreational facilities, and then, maybe there's some retail opportunities that fit within that, sporting goods stores, coffee shop, small restaurants, that sort of thing.
Overall conceptual designs, which could see a walkway constructed one day over Memorial Drive, offering easier access and appeal to residents in the neighborhood. And as far as a timeline to initiate new commercial development, Ruth states the market will dictate this process.
The approach we're taking is that we want to try and have as much land available and ready to get going and be ready for sale as possible. So if the market demand really picks up in the coming years, then we'll be ready to put services in the ground and sell land to make that available.
Information collected from the open house will be compiled and inserted into a full report, set for presentation to Swift Current Mayor and Council in the coming weeks. Until then, the future is wide open for the 125 acres of land now sitting bare for the proposed Hillcrest Highway commercial area.
And when I see that Union Jack, I will shout hooray. I'm glad I'm back in Canada, my Canada. And I'll sing God save our gracious King in the land of the maple leaf.
Palliative Care in Southwest Saskatchewan has received a welcome donation, benefiting residents across the region. We have more in this report. The Sunset Gala, held back in September at the Sky Centre in Swift Current, is one many will not soon forget. The red carpet event attracted local and provincial guests for an evening of fundraising for the Saskatchewan Hospice Palliative Care Association. Now, several months later, an official tally from the fundraiser was announced during a press conference in Swift Current. Over $137,000 was raised from the evening's event, and another $37,500 from the raffle draw. And since the inaugural event was hosted in Swift Current, a portion of the proceeds were donated back to Southwest Saskatchewan and entrusted to the Dr. Noble Irwin Regional Healthcare Foundation, all in the amount of just over $34,000. Funds, which representatives like Carla Carlson are pleased will benefit the residents of Southwest Saskatchewan.
We are just absolutely delighted by the response of the region, and I think it clearly shows you that people see palliative care as a really important cause. I think people are recognizing that we have some steps to move forward here, and clearly they stood behind us in wanting to improve the services and to create new programming. The biggest challenge for palliative care is dealing with the rural versus urban communities, because it's very difficult to provide services to families when they're in remote or rural areas. So we have to be really creative in our service plans, and we have to find ways to support the service providers to get to the families and provide them with the resources they need, be that education or actually direct service delivery.
And now with the money in place, the Cypress Health Region will consider how this may be used within future palliative care projects, including the new long-term care facility set for Swift Current.
Of course, within long-term care, for anybody who lives there, we will provide the palliative care within the home that they're living in. So the 3 palliative rooms that we're looking at creating would be for potentially community members who, for whatever reason, again, we aren't able to support at home or their family isn't able to, manage that. So it would be for community members. So do we have a wish list? Absolutely. We are dreaming about what that could potentially be so that we can create an environment, again, that supports patients and families.
The Saskatchewan Hospice Palliative Care Association will continue with its fundraising with similar events around the province. The 2014 event is now set for Estevan. Well, this brings to a close another episode of Southwest TV News, reporting the stories that matter to you. We always welcome your news tips. You can always reach us here by phone at our studio or by email to contact us at southwesttvnews.com. Also, be sure to join us daily online for the latest news from across Southwest Saskatchewan and so much more at mylocaltv.ca. And be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest. Thanks for joining us here today. I'm Carol Andrews.